A Nigerian software engineer is claiming that he was forced to take a written test to get admitted into the United States by a U.S. Border Patrol officer. Now, this is a story of Celestine Omin, and he is a 28-year-old software engineer from Nigeria. Now, he's claiming that when he landed in JFK Airport after a 24-hour flight from Nigeria, he was stopped and questioned by immigration officials. Now, he's reportedly, according to LinkedIn, again, a software engineer from Lagos. Now, he is currently employed by Andela, which is a tech startup firm with offices in New York, Lagos, Nairobi, and San Francisco. So apparently he is on a business trip coming over here from Nigeria. Now, the firm says that it recruits the most talented developers on the African continent and connects them with the tech employers in the U.S. for potential job vacancies. Now, so he's over here on a visa. Now, say what you want about the H-1B or H-2B visa programs. I've criticized them in the past, but that's not really the heart of this issue. Now, Mr. Omin had reportedly been granted a short-term visa to work with a company called First Access, which is a financial company that is located in New York's Manhattan district. So, again, he's got this short-term visa. He's going to come over. He's going to fill a vacancy. He flies over, lands at JFK, and is immediately detained by these Border Patrol agents. Now, according to his post on LinkedIn, after being asked a series of questions by a U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer, he was taken into a room for further questions. Now, an officer is reported to have asked Mr. Omin, he says, "Your visa says you're a software engineer. Is that correct?" "Yes." He answered, "Yeah, I'm a software engineer. I'm here to work. I've got a temporary visa. All my paperwork's right here." He then says, well, that wasn't good enough for the officer. So he was given a piece of paper and a pen and told to answer questions to prove whether or not he is actually a software engineer. This is amazing. Now, what two questions was he asked? He was asked to write a function to check if a binary search tree is balanced. And then the other question is, what is an abstract class and why do you need it? Now, I don't know the answer to this question. I'm not a software engineer. But I guess the thinking was, well, if you're really a software engineer, you should know this. Now, Mr. Omin told LinkedIn that it seemed to him that these questions, they were not from actual, people who knew what they were talking about. It looked like they had been Googled by someone with no technical background. So, like, I just imagine the scene here at JFK. "Oh, you say you're an software engineer, right?" "Yeah, well, I don't believe it." "Hey, Chuck, go Google me some questions on software engineering. Make it snappy." Come on, man. Really? Now, Omin basically said on Twitter later after this happened that during the incident, he was too tired to think to come up with the right answers, and told the officer, "Hey, why don't we just talk about some other computer science concepts? I can't answer those questions. I'm dead tired. I've just been on a 24-hour flight. I'm tired. I'm jet lagged. And you guys are up in my face. I'm probably a little nervous because I'm being detained. Why don't we talk about some subjects, some other stuff in computer science? I can't answer this question right now because right now, like, my brain's scrambled." So that's understandable, right? Now, reportedly, after he handed back these answers, because they made him answer them anyway, he was told by the officers that they were wrong because they weren't exact definition that you would find on Wikipedia. Because these guys literally wikied it and then said, "Okay, that looks like a good answer," or "that looks like a good question. Now you got to give me that answer verbatim." "Oh, you didn't? Wrong. Yeah, we don't believe you are who you say you are." Wikipedia, man, just think about that. For computer science questions. Come on, man. This is crazy. Now, look, what's interesting is that even though he got those answers wrong, they ended up letting him go anyway. Why? What happened? Well, first, according to the officer, according to Mr. Omin, the officer said, "Yeah, we're going to let you go, But you don't look convincing at all to me. It's amazing. We're going to let you go anyway, but we're watching you, and we didn't believe you anyway. We still don't believe you. Well, then why did they let him go? Well, because it turns out they phoned Andela to verify his story. And would you look at that? Turns out the guy was telling the truth. But yet, hey, man, you don't look convincing. Come on, man. Now, in case you wonder what he looked like, he was a black guy. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it might have something to do with it. Amazing. Now, look, I am aware that Nigeria has some issues with a little group called Boko Haram, kind of causing some issues, right? And that is, of course, a Muslim terror group. That is, these are the radical Islamic terrorists that are terrorizing Africa. Now, we don't seem to care about what's going on in Africa. It's only what happens in Europe and the Middle East. But even though they're having some issues with Boko Haram and the government is fighting against them, Nigeria is not on Donald Trump's travel ban. So what grounds did these officers have to take him into the room and question his credentials? The guy had a visa. He had all his paperwork. And he wasn't from one of the countries that was banned. What's the deal? This whole thing is insane. Look, if you want to know what extreme vetting looks like, I think this is an example. And it's funny. This whole vetting process, well, this looks a lot like racial profiling to me. Well, that's a weird coincidence, isn't it? No, can't be. Can't be a coincidence. Look. This whole situation, if this is true, if this whole situation turns out to be correct, then it's wrong. This is not what America's supposed to be. We're not supposed to do this to people. And what are we doing it for? We're doing it in the name of safety? Oh my God, we got to protect ourselves from these software engineers. This is ridiculous, man. This is not what America's about. And it's disastrous that it's come to this. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.